welcome to the World Retina Day episode of Retinal Realities, brought to you by Rush Products. My name is Sonia Mahabir, and I'm the host. In this special edition, we are honored to have Claudette, Victoria, and Lindiwe, our dedicated patient advocates. This year's theme for World Retina Day is Love Your Eyes, focusing on children, and it's a call to action we cannot ignore. At Retina South Africa, we've observed some concerning trends that are affecting children's eye health and could have a lasting impact on their future. With the explosion of screen time from devices like smartphones, tablets, and computers, the benefits of technology are clear, but so are the risks. To dive deeper into these issues, we'll start with Victoria. Victoria, you have experienced working across various communities spanning race, class, and socioeconomic status. What have been your discoveries about the impact on device use on children in these settings?
Thank you, Sonia. That is such a topical question. In summary, devices seem to be almost everywhere, and youngsters are glued to those screens, networking with their friends, gaming, watching clips, or even movies. They are engaged with that device from morning to night.
Thank you, Victoria. It is undeniable that devices have become omnipresent in our lives. The sheer availability of these devices in our communities, schools, and homes have made it almost impossible for children to avoid them. It's a new norm that we really need to navigate carefully through.
The trend probably was boosted during the epidemic when people were stuck at home and the only way to communicate with friends was via their devices. So it was something to do during the long months of isolation, and it quickly escalated to a habit that seems to continue until this day. Walk around, visit any shopping mall or restaurant, and even a school playground, and notice how many people, including adults and children, are glued to their devices.
That's correct. It's almost an addiction that we have. Lindiwe, what are your thoughts regarding the use of technology in education?
Thank you for having me here today, Sonia. So, advantage of devices that information is readily available and missed classes are even easily caught up. As Victoria said about the habit, the trends towards online education during the pandemic became an accepted norm, and even today, education is quite common. And just to share, we recently had our annual lecture at one of our local universities and noticed that most of the students in the class were on their devices and they were better following the lecture on referring from their devices than on the screen in the lecture hall. So it appeared that even when there are alternatives, devices are usually intensively.
That is true. Hey, lots of people prefer to look at their cell phone and almost engage digitally than in person. Claudette, you recently highlighted some significant concerns surrounding excess screen time. Please share some of your observations in regards to children.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for including me in this important podcast. The world has noticed alarming problems associated with the extensive use of devices, and especially by children. As my colleagues have said, they seem to be the accepted mode of communication. All the problems that appear to be twofold. Firstly, we've known for a long time that extensive exposure to blue light can actually damage the retina. And although the light from our devices is not very strong, the extensive use and the accumulative effect, of course, is high. And also, we know that it's having a very large impact on myopia on children. And that is such a huge topic. I think we should leave that for the next podcast. But because of extensive close-up work, the eye loses the ability to apt to seeing objects in the distance. and the myopia or short-sightedness results. And we know that myopia carries with it a far-reaching consequence for our children, even into later years.
That's extremely frightening, Claude. But on the upside, if I'm listening to what you said correctly, it is preventable by limiting screen time. Is that correct?
Absolutely, but we have to take into account that screens are here to stay. And we need to look at alternatives and also clever ways we can suggest where children can actually self-limit, because the parents don't seem to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's quite a common trend. Hey, so while devices are remarkably benefiting for children in terms of learning, communication, and safety, it sure is a hazard if it's overused. Victoria, please can you share some solutions or even strategies with our listeners to help mitigate these risks?
Absolutely. Retina South Africa would like to propose solutions to counteract the problems arising from the overuse of devices. Firstly, when using a device, we suggest that you implement the 20-20 rule. That is, after using the device for 20 minutes, you look into the distance at least 20 meters away for at least 20 seconds. This gives the eyes a chance to recover and to reset and be ready for the next 20 minutes. It is also important to encourage children to play outside and implement no screen days in households or in schools. Educating children about eye health and vision loss. It is also important to encourage children to frequently blink to lubricate their eyes whilst on their devices.
We would also like to propose an ongoing screen-free day that starts on World Sight Day. On these days, we suggest that children only use devices for essential things like important communication. No social media or even online entertainment for just one day a week. I think that will go a long way to getting us back on track to our healthy life. In addition, research shows that 2 hours outdoor each day is very protective of our eyes. So we need to start thinking about this.
And Sonia, if I may add, this problem is being recognized worldwide. And in fact, the Chinese government have actually put restrictive times in place for children of various ages. And I also heard an appeal yesterday on a podcast, which seemed amazing, that if all the parents told all the children in primary school that they're not allowed a smartphone till they get to high school, and when they get to high school, they're allowed certain hours on that phone. But one parent can't start that, of course.
Absolutely. I think issues like this are definitely a team effort. As we wrap up today's episode, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our wonderful guests, Claudette, Victoria, and Lindiwe, for sharing their invaluable insights and practical strategies that we can all implement to enhance the lives of our children and raise awareness about these important issues. A special thank you goes out to our sponsor, Roche Products, for their generous support in making this podcast possible. Your contribution allows us to continue bringing valuable content to our listeners. To our audience, thank you for listening. If you found this episode helpful, please remember to subscribe on our series by clicking the subscribe button on this page. Your support helps us keep this popular series going. Don't forget, all our podcasts are available on our website at www.retinasa.org.za under the Learn tab. We also have a quick and informative back to basics session available on some informative and educational content. Lastly, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and please be sure to follow us on social media on our Facebook page as well as Instagram for the latest update. Thank you, ladies, for having this podcast and conversation with me. I've been looking at my screen now for 20 minutes, so I need to take a break. Goodbye and thank you.
Thank you.